start stream. Why it had to start it, I'll never know.
Okay.
So we'll see if that works now. But yeah, we've got a couple of things going on, bigger for us this week. I mean, just personally, we've got some details. We're big fans of PS5,
Sure,
PS4.
yeah.
The PS5 details came out. That was interesting.
Yeah.
It was kind of leaked out. Not leaked out. I mean, it wasn't leaked out by anybody that isn't from Sony.
No, it was...
But it was kind of weird they confirmed things that early on.
Yeah, Mark Cerny. So here a week ago, we had sort of had a little fun. Someone had thrown kind of a pretty wild speculation up on Pastebin.
Yeah.
We looked at it, we talked about it for a minute, and then Sony sat down with Wired and actually kind of confirmed at least a portion of what was posted on Pastebin. Not the game information, but just sort of the fundamentals about the hardware were more or less confirmed.
Right.
A couple things off the bat. Your PS4 games, it sounds like, are going to work. Your PSVR sounds like it'll work with PS5.
I don't know if anybody's too excited of just the PSVR, the PS4 being able to work. I've heard a lot of people that really want to have,
full backwards compatibility.
Yeah. So PS3, PS2, PS1. I think that's still going to come into the world of not physical versions, but you're going to have your digital versions.
I guess the way I ultimately read it after reading the article a couple of times was, I'm going to speculate, I think it's going to be there.
Yeah.
I just don't think they were ready to talk specifics about, is it as simple as do you put your disc in, if you bought it digitally, how does it work? So I think maybe they wanted to talk about more hardware level, because he got into specifics about the hard drive and the processor, and I think it was mainly more focused on that. They talked a tiny bit about, some game stuff, but I expect further down the line, when they know exactly the hows and the whys, we'll find out then.
I think so as well.
And I think with Microsoft having done it this generation, it'll be difficult for them to only have PS4 when Microsoft kind of outright went in made almost everything backwards compatible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We'll talk about one of those aspects here in a little bit, funny enough, of even Xbox One's backward compatibility,
right.
Which they started off being kind of I don't know if you'd call them the laggards, but they weren't really, embracing it right away, but then, they got better, and we can discuss that here in a few minutes.
Sure,
it's not a big deal. But, other things that they had talked about was PSVR. Mm-hmm. You can use your existing one. We have one here. Funny enough, this is an example. Russ was kind enough to bring his in, but this, the good old faithful, will be able to be used with PS5.
Yep.
So, that one, the best design out there right now in terms of putting one on. Actually, the new Vive headset looks really good, right? That you're going to be able to bring in. But, you're going to be able to use this with your PS5. They've confirmed that. And then they still didn't deny there's going to be a new PSVR.
There was a couple things in there that they didn't outright deny.
Yeah, they didn't kind of say, no, it's not going to actually be that way. So that was kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, there were, we'll skip the leak from a couple weeks ago and we'll keep it just in the conversation about that article. They talked about some, it looks like everyone's going to be shooting for consistent 4K out the gate on this one. So it's not
that's true.
So it's not like we're not shooting for 5K yet, we're not shooting for 6K yet.
But 8K is supported.
They talked about the ability to scale to it eventually, but I think that kind of relieves some people that 4K is still not super widely adopted, so people were are they going to shoot for
your techno fortune tellers are sitting out there going, I'm not buying an 8K until it supports it. Well, hopefully, I don't know what support 8K will be, maybe just that PlayStation Gran Turismo game that they showed at one of the demos.
Sure.
But hopefully that helps Sony, make a decision to get to 8K within the life of the the 5, the PS5.
Which I could see as being realistic. Another thing they talked about in the article was they gave an example of how the loading in Spider-Man worked.
Yep.
And they made a point of saying very specifically that we're not just putting a solid state drive in here, and we're not just putting a faster hard drive in here. They used an example of Spider-Man, where the loading in Spider-Man took, I think they said about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And now they've got a version of it running on the new
Less
kind of
than a
hardware that's loading in less than a second.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So it'd be really interesting to, you want to cut the loading screens out of this as a feature, sign me up. I have absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah, after the Anthem loading debacle, man, that would be nice to have the ability just to crank through those. So, yeah, if you want to have loading screens, go to town.
And we saw, I would say probably one of the best examples I've ever seen of loading screens done well was with God of War.
Yeah.
Where that game doesn't have loading screens in it.
Yeah.
Everything is some visual transformation. You're rolling through a portal. You're kind of like locked into place, but it doesn't just say like, here's a black screen with some text on it.
Yeah, between them and the original winner of the no loading screen trophy, Dead Space.
Yeah, totally.
They did it right. They took the time between to build something in, so as you're transitioning and everything's loading, there's still something going on. It looks good.
You might be doing something rather mundane.
Yeah, like getting in an elevator
or whatever.
Elevator go down, come out.
But it doesn't kind of rip you out, which would be an interesting way. And he talked about how they want to, and he kind of makes a point of how they want. The whole point wasn't to just load really fast. It was to like fundamentally change kind of how things are loaded. I'm not technical enough to explain this at like a hardware engineering level.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. Keep going.
But that was his intent. Was it wasn't just super fast. It was kind of designed to have a new type of experience.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. They didn't really make it to where it's just we're getting rid of loading screens, but there's technical ideas around it.
They didn't talk price. Everyone seems to think $399. I've heard some $499.
Yeah.
So, Sony said people that see the hardware and the specs will be okay with the price listed at,
it's still not, well, what'd they say? Up to $499.
They haven't said anything about price.
Okay, that's
They've
good.
said that you will be happy with what you'll think you're comfortable with paying for something nice.
I don't know how many people were actually comfortable with the PS3 price. When it creeped up to $499, it wasn't the 60 gig version. That was a $599 machine.
It was, yeah.
Right, it was $100 more. $499 was no Wi-Fi, no USB ports on the front, and no media card readers.
Okay.
I think that was it.
Because they ripped...
And it was like $490. It was the $499. It was 20 gig hard drive. Then there was like $100 more. You got like media cards. You got 4 USB ports. You got Wi-Fi.
Right.
And you got a 60 gig hard drive. And that was $100 more. Now, we've seen that, right? Like the last one that comes to mind that really did that was the Wii U. There was an 8 gig version and there was a 32 gig version.
I remember that.
The 8 gig couldn't even, basically no full games would fit on that that were desirable, right? That you really wanted to have. So I think kind of having that, I hope they don't go down the road of where they're like, we can get it down to this price, but you really want the version that's $100 or $150 more. You know what I mean? And you're going to be over $500.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hope they would go that far.
One thing that I got asked about quite a bit, just sort of online and through various people, I don't think they're going to try to do a PlayStation 5 Pro out the gate. I would like there to be, if it were up to me, one box, one machine. If they could find a way to put a VR headset in there, I'd be all about it. But I don't think you can do that at a sub $700 $600.
Yeah, I mean, you would be stretching, especially for the new headset that we would want.
Right.
Like, that headset that we just showed, that's a great headset. That thing is phenomenal performance, and we may end up doing... we ended up pulling in a Nintendo Labo VR unit, and, you know, it's kind of night and day from, like, something that is that, which is just a toy, to, you know, that gives you some functionality. It's nice. I mean, we're not downing it, but for $39, you're not getting this.
Right.
This is, you know, $299. To Brooks's point, if you were to add it on top, you're like $700 before you can get kind of the new unit and the headset. But the headset I want is the wireless version of that headset, right? Where there is no wire connected. And what is that going to be? Is that going to be the new one?
Right.
Pretty close to this spec, but no wires. And you're talking about a $499 headset, right? Which is cheaper than like a Vive, right? Or, you know, the Oculus has only had like one version. It's $399 now because they can't sell them that fast. But, you know, I mean, are you looking at like the cost of a headset, just like the last generation, is the cost of the unit itself? So $399 or $299 and $299 and $399.
So it seems untenable to put one in the box as much as we would love to.
I agree.
Have one in everyone's hands. It's not. Unless they're sitting there and they're probably taking $100, $150 loss on the PS5
from the
itself.
get-go, yeah. They will be taking a loss.
So asking them to take a $400 hit is it's, you know, unrealistic. So,
although you never know.
Yeah, and I guess sort of the last detail in that was that it does sound like some of these. There's a handful of these last exclusive Sony games that they more or less confirmed will be bridge games. So if you're waiting for Last of Us or Ghosts, you'll be able to play them on PlayStation 4, and then there will be the super fancy, awesome edition,
remaster version.
So
the masters of the remaster, Sony PlayStation. And then there was other news. You know, Microsoft sitting over there quietly, trying to you know, come to the surface for air as they're really being pushed down by all this hype around other platforms, Switch and PlayStation, really taking them to the woodshed, so to speak. Microsoft announced you can do 3 months of Game Pass for $1 right now.
Right, we talked about this.
100 games, unlimited access, probably more than 100 games now, I guess.
And then some of those games in there are not small potatoes. You could play like Sea of Thieves. You could play the new Crackdown. I mean, for what it's worth, right?
But I mean, for that $1, 3 months. Now that's a promo, right? They're doing that as a promo. The new thing that they're going to be doing is bundling the two together. So for $14.99 a month, you can get your Xbox Live Gold and your Game Pass together. So $14.99 a month. Still somewhat high.
Okay.
I do think that's a little bit high for a consumer to pay. But I think they could sweeten the deal if they're listening. Go out there, take that brand new machine you're going to build, the SAD or whatever they call it, the standalone download version.
The all digital machine.
All digital. Bundle that in for $19.99 a month for like a 2-year commitment or a 3-year commitment or whatever it is. Like you get all the services together for $20 a month,
right? Plus
a machine. I think they would be able to make some headway with that. With that deal. If you're not going to do that, I kind of go like, shouldn't you be looking at like $12.99 for both services combined? Because, you know, getting $60 a year for Xbox One or Xbox Live, that's kind of the Microsoft pipe dream. You know, there's resellers, there's other places you can go. You can get it for $39 a year.
I have not paid for a full year of Xbox Live or PSN in like a long time.
And obviously they're selling it at a loss there, so why not really try to go out there and get some customers? So do it for a good deal include the system and make it a real value for people.
Right.
And you can get some of that foot traffic, that foothold in for the traffic that's going to be looking for a new system shortly.
Right.
You never know. I mean, it may happen. It may just stay $14.99. The $9.99 or the 3 months of Game Pass for $1, I'd say don't turn that down. That's well worth it. But watch giving Microsoft your credit card, because it never disappears from their system. It's there forever.
It's really difficult.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's there forever. What's up, Baltimore? Good to see you, man. Thank you for dropping in. Baltimore Actual's an old friend back in the stream days. He knows what I'm talking about.
Welcome.
With this.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of a unique thing that Microsoft's trying to get a little traction on Sony, because you've got 2 big titles coming out, and only one of them Microsoft's getting.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Days Gone, which is an exclusive to PlayStation, coming out next week,
right.
Friday 26th, right?
Yeah, I mean we'll be leaving next week's show and playing it.
And going right to that, right? Yeah. I mean both of us are really excited about that. And then you've got Mortal Kombat 11 coming out, which will be on everything, right? Even Switch.
Yeah,
Switch.
actually everywhere.
It looks phenomenal. It does look good. Sorry, Baltimore, I got to move my windows. I can't see what you're saying. There you go. Oh, he always takes the $1 deal. Yeah, for sure, man. You definitely know where the getting's good. I would do that. I'm going to do it for sure.
It's a funny thing, too, because like as we sort of get to the end of each console generation, which will be sometime in probably the next 18 months.
Yeah.
If you haven't played as many games, or maybe you had a PlayStation and you want to try Xbox, you got an Xbox, you can get these machines for relatively low cost. In the games, I mean the games that like you can buy the best games for $15 or $20 each, right? And
yeah.
You can sit there and you can come away with 5 of the best games in a generation in a system for $250.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I could sit there and name like 5 good games that are well worth playing on there, and it's just their major franchise. Halo Wars 2.
Sure.
Phenomenal game, lots of gameplay. You've got State of Decay 2, which is a fun game. I don't think you've ever played that one, but it is a really good game. It kind of reminds you. That's where Days Gone comes from.
Right.
I think. Like there's some influence from that, and they're local guy. That's the Bothell team. Undead Labs. Up in Bothell.
I know they also have a small office downtown now as well.
Yeah, they've grown. And then you've got, although I don't know like if we're all fans of Crackdown as much as you are, but Crackdown 3 ended up being kind of like a mediocre game, but still has an unlimited amount of fun in it. And if you give it a try, I think it's well worth it.
It's not the revolution that it was promised to be.
Right.
But it is, it's a good Crackdown game. So if you're into that, then...
Oh, Baltimore's saying he still uses Xbox Live on PC. Yeah. That's a kind of a cool thing, too. If you're paying that $1 for the 3 months, you get to download those games onto your PC as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not every game, but the ones that integrate with... They have the Play Anywhere, I think it's what they call it. And then you've got, like, Gears series. You've got the Halo series on there. You've got... I mean, those alone are just all well worth that.
Oh, Remedy.
$1's an insult almost.
Remedy did Quantum Break. That's an awesome game.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I don't think many people played, but
yeah, they are part of it. Yes, you're right. Baltimore Undead Labs are part of Microsoft.
Yeah, they bought
that was one of the studios they acquired. What, a year?
When they went on that spree 6 months ago.
about a year or more ago.
Yeah.
And then they announced them all at E3, I believe. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, so things are busy. We were going to talk a little bit about Elder Scrolls. That's one thing. We were saying, like, let's try to get those games in. We ended up getting them in from Bethesda. They were kind enough. So we've got, what we're going to show here today is what we're carrying, which is Morrowind, Oblivion, so Elder Scrolls 3, 4, 5, Skyrim, and Skyrim VR. Now we have the Game of the Year edition for Morrowind and Oblivion. They're actually Game of the Year Deluxe editions. And then we also have the special edition of Skyrim, which, can go both ways. We discussed this and kind of back and forth on should we have just Skyrim and the standard edition,
Right.
DLCs, or should we do the special edition? Bethesda doesn't really support the old version. It's more or less Nexus mods that supports it anymore. So not necessarily everybody wants to go through that. So we kind of just said, hey, we'll go with the base one.
For the sake of avoiding any
Thanks,
confusion and having the base game with all the DLCs and then the remastered one and the way the DLCs work with the first copy, we basically made the decision to have the Game of the Year ones out there that are kind of more whole package. You get the new remastered version.
Yeah. So we went with that one. And Skyrim VR is kind of unique because you need specific equipment. You know, you need a VR headset. You need the wands. I would suggest to say that you're going to want to get the Vive for the PC version. There's Oculus.
Sure.
I'm not sure about. I know it supports Oculus, but I know that there's been some slight hiccups with it in the past. I own the Vive. Vive works perfectly fine. PlayStation's version of this actually works perfectly fine. So haven't had any problem. But there is an additional cost on the VR side of the world. But let's get into talking about this. And one thing we wanted to talk about first off was kind of the unique scenario of what we're in. So there's 5 what you would call chronological games.
If you're wondering why we don't have 1 and 2 on the service.
Right. Nobody has 1 and 2 necessarily. 1 and 2 were the early ones made. And really how you come across those are a couple different ways. So you have something like this, which is the Elder Scrolls kind of classic edition anthology collection. This is the only way you can come across outside of maybe owning the original box set, this is the only way you can actually come across the discs of them.
Actual discs of the first
Physical discs of this. There's Daggerfall and then Arena, which was the first game, Elder Scrolls 1. It's right there. So that's one way to come across that. And actually, they were pretty nice. When you bought this, you got the Steam key versions of it too.
Cool.
So you got both.
Right.
Today, though, interesting, and you can't even get those on Steam, Daggerfall and Arena, you have to go to Bethesda. And Bethesda has them for free. You can download them completely free. We're going to put the links in chat just because we want people to be able to enjoy it. And I have those here, so let me jump in and do that. But with those, so let's see. Here's the Arena one. Now these are games made in 1994 and 97. So temper your expectations. They're interesting. You know what I mean in the sense of they have definitely a nostalgia. And they are within the anthology, so they're in the chronological order of 1 and 2.
Right.
Most people probably were born either after them or very late. Baltimore, you can just download them free. They're at least something to check out. It's definitely more like playing Doom. If you've ever played the original Doom, that's how I would tell you it feels like. I'm going to even throw these over onto the Twitch side too, just so we've got them on both. I could use that program, but it's just not connecting correctly all the time, so I'm not going to blame it on the program, but I'm going to throw them up. Yeah, they are still fun games, so you can get them for free and play them and check them out. And like I said, they actually, in Daggerfall, I played through them, they upgraded things a lot.
Okay.
Right? There was a lot of things that they actually went in and did, and even in the graphics category, they had changed a lot of them. So it was really cool. And, we don't carry them, but you can go to Bethesda and download them for free. So then there were some other games that Bethesda tinkered around with that are not necessarily in the chronological order of
1 through 5. Right.
Elder Scrolls, right? And that was Battlespire and Redguard, and I think they were made in 2002, maybe?
Okay.
2003. Battlespire was, if I can remember, kind of like a third-person game, if I remember correctly. I do know where you can come across these, though. They actually are on GOG. GOG has them, funny enough. And they're the only place that I know that has them.
Interesting.
I don't know of any other place. They actually went in and did work for these things. So if you were looking for those, you'd have to go back. Now, there's even some other ones, and I have one here, funny enough. This is, it's going to be backwards, because we had to flip it because we sit this way and it's mirroring us.
Right.
But it's not mirroring the words. So this is the Elder Scrolls Traveler's Shadow Key. So this is for the N-Gage. This is a very interesting one.
For the talk phone.
Oh, you're switching to stream? Oh yeah, you're going to jump over to Twitch. We've got them on both, Baltimore. We see you there. Funny enough, we have a game here. Brooks brought this up. He was like, I would play these if they had multiplayer in them.
Sure.
Because you enjoy that, right? And we tried online. You know, there is Elder Scrolls Online. This is a 1 to 2 player game.
Oh, fun.
2 N-Gages can connect and play this game. Now this is kind of hard to come by. The going price tag for this is around $200 to $300.
That's ridiculous.
My son collects these, so this is his, and I would let you touch it, but
He
no.
collects Skyrim stuff, not N-Gage games. Just
Yeah, exactly.
to clear the air there.
There is no. We have one N-Gage, and the battery doesn't work.
I was working,
which is kind of funny.
I was working at a GameStop when I was like 16 or 17.
Oh, sure.
When N-Gage was a thing, and they had us pushing that, and we were all just sitting there, just like.
It was a big deal, man.
Oh, I was there for it.
So here's the other thing. So now we're getting into Morrowind, and this is going to be the first one that we walk through. Morrowind actually made it's on PC, so obviously we have the PC version here. You go over to Steam and download that. And the one that we have is the Game of the Year edition, just like this. But this is the Xbox version, the original Xbox.
First time it was on consoles.
First thing that ever made it to consoles for the Elder Scrolls.
Yep.
This is kind of unique. So this has both Tribunal and Blood Moon.
Okay.
So this has got the DLC. If you have a Xbox One and you get Morrowind, you can buy the cheaper version, drop it into the Xbox One, and it downloads the Game of the Year edition.
How funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it was. There had to have been a decision of just like, ugh, how complex is it to have 2 different things, and we might as well just upgrade everybody that has both discs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what was the real loss?
I think for them, it's like, let's just put one code out there
Right.
and cover everything. Now, funny enough, that trick does not always work that way because, for example, who am I thinking of? I know this off the top. Jade Empire.
Okay.
From BioWare. Jade Empire has 2 versions of the Xbox game, and if you stick one disc in, it only gives you that version. So it has Jade Empire, the normal one, and it has Jade Empire, the Deluxe edition or whatever, Game of the Year edition, whatever it was. But the reason why I think that is because Microsoft produced that game with them, or published that game with them.
Got it. Okay.
So they helped them publish it. And it was exclusive, as far as I remember, on the Xbox.
Yep.
Until it came to PC later on, but you can get it on Steam if you really wanted that one. But yeah, kind of a neat little thing is you can get that and be able to do it. So, but let's take a look at Morrowind so we can kind of talk about it. Morrowind is a little bit different. Definitely different from Daggerfall and Arena. I mean, Morrowind went into the final 3D era of games. Yeah, they want the money still. There's no doubt, man. You're right, Baltimore. It's kind of funny how they did that, but I would imagine, yeah, they didn't want it to go out the door for free. That's for sure. They wanted to make sure you bought the actual copy, but Bethesda was like, we don't care, just get it on there.
You know, it's like there's an Anthem joke somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
On Jade Empire, on that whole disc fiasco. I just think that it was like, you know, we kind of talked about this a little bit outside of the realm of Elder Scrolls of just like, you know, as these new systems, is that how it's going to work? Then can you just go get a used copy of the game and throw it in the system and it's like, you own, right?
Yep.
So it'll be curious to see, I think long term, this might be something we start to see a little more of. If I I would have.
I think it would be too. Yeah, and to go back to, not to diverge from Morrowind here, but this is just the beginning we were going to talk about anyhow. A lot of text, a lot of small text on a 4K TV when you're trying to record this.
Right.
I think Microsoft has been making headway on the backwards compatibility because they are supporting. Now, will they support discs on their next system? That's part of the question, but they are supporting at least a portion of the catalog that people owned. Now, not every game, you can't just drop any game, any Xbox original game into an Xbox One.
It doesn't just
there's
magically happen.
Yeah, there's a select amount that do that, but they at least even did it for the Xbox 360, right? They were trying. Nothing beats, in my mind, and I will go to my grave saying this. The PS3 was the best console ever produced.
Get yourself up on deck and
At the time when it came out, it supported 3 generations of gaming. It supported every possible media that you could play in the market at the time, including Blu-ray, which wasn't even available at the time.
Yep.
And, it supported HD, it supported every level of HD down to standard edition or standard resolution.
Yeah.
It was the best you could buy. Now, it weighed hefty and it could crush a small child if it fell on him, but I will say that was the best system ever made, but at a very steep price point in comparison to everything that's being produced after that.
And I think I would probably also put a caveat in there. The machine was so technical.
It was Baltimore, yeah. Blu-ray was smart.
The machine was so technical that even their processor technology they used was kind of universally in-house Sony Studios dealt with it because they had to. Developers said enough that next gen around, everybody used a more universal standard and didn't have to come in with fancy, we gotta learn to program to this chip or to this board.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it might not have been the easiest thing to work with, but it was. They damn sure made that anybody could play any game on it at the time or any media, which was pretty amazing. Still to this day. I'm just dropping for anybody that's in here. I'm Baltimore. I know you have this game. Is the link if you're interested. We do. If you buy it through us, no matter when it is, it's always like a 10% discount.
At least, yeah.
At least for these games. There's higher games that are 30% and even more. But we do that, and you can get the code, and the code is actually for Steam. So when you buy this version, you'd get it on Steam.
Yep. And
this version does have Blood Moon and Tribunal in it. And the text is small on the screen because of my TV that I recorded it on. You're getting a very large picture. You can read it, though. I played it when I was on there. I was actually reading everything.
Dude, I just sit so close it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So on here, hi Hayden, welcome.
One summer afternoon,
the Penguins game. Can't get away from the old traditions at WildTangent. The Penguins game, we have that.
Certainly not.
We love Penguins. We love Fate. Fate could have been, let's just dream for a minute. Fate could have been Elder Scrolls.
You have asked him to
It could
stop,
have.
but he finds it very amusing to watch you blush.
No, Fate was a great game. Elder Scrolls is a great game. These are just, classic games. I mean, they were earlier on, and, the nice thing is here at the beginning of Morrowind, you get dialogue. You actually get full dialogue, conversing back and forth with the characters, and they're basically in this point. And most people have played this. If you haven't played it, they're basically leading you through a questionnaire that kind of builds a preset character for you in a way.
And I think one of the things that was nice about this, and correct me if I'm wrong, on the PC version, if you hit button the base game originally, you can actually take that character and move him in to the Game of the Year edition, if you so choose.
You can, yeah, you can. And the nice thing about it is, it was really the first kind of experience for people, because again, it came out on console. It was something that was not like you had to be a genius, because back in the day, to get a lot of PC games running, it was not as simple as it is on our service or Steam, where you just click a button and fires off, right? You had to mess around with getting your voodoo cards to sync together.
Many years ago, building a PC was incredibly complicated. Now these days it's like blue goes to blue and red goes to red, and now
Yeah.
I have a gaming PC or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, the world's a little bit different now, and for this game, obviously, it's changed as well. Let's jump back. We've got some other ones to go through here. So, that was Morrowind, but again, you know, that's when, like we showed with the Xbox version, the original Xbox version, they started to hit their stride, and they were coming out with, like, every console at the next time for Oblivion. Oblivion was setting it on fire, and this is really where I probably got into it more because it was available on my couch
Okay.
than sitting at a PC desk hunched over. You know, that's kind of the point where, like, the Xbox 360 one I owned first. I remember watching, what was the dude at GameSpot? Kasanov? He was the editor.
Not Jeff.
No, Jeff worked for him.
Okay.
Robert Kasanov, or
I don't remember his name.
I forget, but he ended up going over to the folks that why do I even bring that up? Because I can't remember. But they're doing development on games. But anyhow, they were doing a live stream of this funny in like 2007 when it came out, 2006. They were doing live streams back then. So funny enough, you know, different variations, but Game of the Year edition. Well, this was the Special Collector's Edition. This was the Game of the Year edition, or the 5th annual edition. Then there's a Game of the Year edition. The funny thing is about Oblivion. God, this mask and its eyes.
I don't know how you're still wearing that.
We'll keep wearing it. The funny thing about Oblivion is there were it was like into the double digits of DLC you could buy for that game.
Yeah.
There were 2 DLC expansions, Knights of the Nine and the Shivering Isles, but there was the horse armor, there was the
lair,
the razor.
den.
Yeah. There was tons of different DLC that you could get for it. So what you wanted to find right now, or in the end of this whole saga for Oblivion, and we'll put that on screen here, what you really wanted to find was, and we didn't even connect the video. That was one that I missed, funny enough. Let me fix that for you guys. We had, I didn't connect the video because I don't have it. I know where it is. I didn't download it. With Oblivion, so we'll talk about it.
Cool.
With Oblivion, you essentially got into a world where it was far more colorful.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't that drab, like grays and tans and things like that.
Everything was monochromatic.
Everything was monochromatic and made it look really nice. But there were tons of additional DLCs in that you could pick up from that. And what you really wanted to get to was the version that we have now, which is the Game of the Year Deluxe Edition.
Right.
That contains everything. It contains the lair, it contains the horse armor, it contains all the other stuff. That's the version that you want to get because that's basically the full package. Not like the 5th year edition, not like the standard collector's edition, not the Game of the Year edition, because Game of the Year edition, it came with just the 2 DLC expansions, the Knights of the Nine and the Shivering Isles, which are all good on their own. You know, they're all perfectly great, but kind of to have the full package and to see how they did that, like you could buy a wizard's tower and you could buy a warrior's cottage and build a fighting guild and all this stuff. That's what the other things were, the lair and everything.
Which might not, people might be thinking like, oh, like there's horse armor or there's skins or whatever, which might not seem like something
Actually, I'll find
in 2019, but back in, you know, many years ago, kind of selling individual cosmetics or, you know, smaller DLC packs against bigger DLC packs when there's, you know, collector's editions and digital deluxe editions, and so.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you get the full package, and I know that, you know, Bethesda offers it mainly as their only version that you can go and pick up. Now, we also have the regular Game of the Year edition that only comes with Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles too. But
since there's not a confusion over tools and what's moddable and what's not, we went ahead and put both up for that one. Yeah.
So, I mean, people were satiated with that for a while. I mean, that game ran for 5 years on its own, I think.
Okay.
You know, you can do mods. You can get a lot of stuff for that. There's been a couple groups of people that were trying to do, and I know when I streamed, they were still doing that, which was the Skywind and Sky Oblivion.
Okay.
These are two mods that were going to come out that were basically going to take Oblivion and Morrowind and put them into the Skyrim engine and redo everything.
Okay.
That's a really, really big...
Daunting task.
Yeah, daunting task. But they were working on it. I don't know if it ever finally went out or not. I know that it's still still being worked on, but I don't know if they've ever completely finished it.
Well, because then at this point, modding for those was still PC. It wasn't even until 5, Skyrim, that
Correct.
modding came to the consoles for the first time.
Yep.
And that it came to the consoles with some caveats, depending on which platform you were on.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It was, in general, they backed down on the graphics, they backed down on the draw distance. It's funny enough, even with the best hardware, you still get some, if you don't do the mods, you can still get some drawing.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah, it's kind of like as you see the video, it's like, oh, just over the hill, it's still, still drawing in the grass kind of thing. Oh, they're still being worked on. Okay, well, that's good. Baltimore, actually, he's another big fan of it, too, so.
Might have got someone with some answers.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's still going to go on for a while because those are big projects. Let's just say that.
Yeah, there's a few of those that have been lingering around PC for a while, because there's that whole team that was building, what they call it, Black Mesa?
Yeah.
Where they were ripping all of Half-Life 1 and making it into a new-gen game.
Yeah, which you don't ever want to actually go play from what I've heard. Because it's just because Freeman's on there doesn't mean you go buy it. Valve will let that shit go out everywhere. So there is one thing that we did miss, which was the mobile version. So we talked a little bit about that really expensive one, the Shadow Key. There is also Stormhold and Dawnstar, which were part of the Travel series.
Okay.
Those were not on the N-Gage. Those were actually on J2ME phones. So you'd have to go... I don't even know how you would come across these unless you have it stored. I'm sure that maybe somewhere there's a J2ME build out there that you could go download, but to find
I'm sure
the right J2ME player
I'm
might be
sure
tough.
there's some corner of the internet where someone stored all the jars from
Yeah.
Singular Store or whatever.
Yeah, you would have to go and find a little bit of stuff to make it work. But those are two of the Travels, so Elder Scrolls Travels versions that are hidden away out there.
Funny.
They were not made for the N-Gage. They look like the N-Gage version. Mm-hmm. Totally different stories, though, from what I understand and what I remember. Because I think I had it on a Nokia... Wow, I don't even remember what they called those ones. They were bigger. They were around the time of the N-Gage. They were the 6160 series, 6220 series, 6260 series.
Was that the Nokia phone that
No,
had the screen in it?
That was the communicator.
Okay.
This was kind of like just a standard dumb phone with like the keyboard and all that, bigger
Okay.
screen. It used the Series 60 J2ME backend.
Got it. Okay.
So I think it was a 6260
Okay.
or 66. 6620 is the phone we're looking for. That was the one that I played it on. I mean, you can tell like we had a little bit of business.
Scared to pull
That's
this
it
up.
right there, 6620. Ugly.
I'd be like, I've never used one of these, but we absolutely.
Oh, we
use it
had
in
tons of these in our office.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look up a 6620, that's what I played. I want to say it was Dawnstar on.
Okay.
I want to believe it was that one. Oh, they're making a Fallout mod for New Vegas. Well, I've seen the Fallout mod, Baltimore, for... I think you and I and Chiba King and Humble all had... We watched Humble play, like, the connector between Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. There's a mod that, like, you jump in one area and it takes you to New Vegas from Fallout 3.
Where?
Yeah, somebody made a
okay.
mod for it. I forget what the name of it was. Yeah, I remember watching that. That was years ago, but that one was interesting. It's probably not what you're talking about, not like a new level of depth, but all that did was it carried your same character over to the new game.
Okay.
And I can't remember what it's called. It was a unique mod. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
You know, they've really established a really strong mod scene Bethesda has for their games.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
speaking of Fallout VR, an amazing game if you haven't done that. But Skyrim VR. Now we have the PlayStation version here. We don't sell the PlayStation version,
No.
but this one, this is the platform that it showed up on first.
yep.
It was exclusive to the PlayStation
Sony
VR.
got Skyrim and
Yeah.
PC got
Fallout, but now PC has Skyrim VR as well because we're selling that one. That leads us into the next thing. So we took some video of it.
We're showing that one first so we can kind of show
Yeah, so
you
we
what
can-
it looks like in VR, and then we're going to jump into actually playing Skyrim.
We're gonna play a little bit of Skyrim. So let's jump in and look at Skyrim VR on the PS4. This is with the PSVR. We should actually start from the beginning, maybe. Let's do that. That'll help us. Why are you not showing up for us? Oh, because I'm looking at the wrong thing. There we go. There we go. Let's go back to the beginning. So here, if you're aware, or if you're familiar with Skyrim, we're just outside of the Mage College.
This is not a Skyrim experience. This is flat out all of Skyrim in VR.
Oh, yeah.
Entire game.
Yep, you can do everything in this that you can do for any other version of Skyrim. You can go anywhere you want. You can do all the same things. The nice thing was that both in this and Fallout VR, they didn't take anything away from people. They gave you the exact experience that you would expect. And they made it pretty manageable too, especially if you're using the wands. Now, I do know for a fact on the PS4 you can use the controller.
Yep.
The regular PS4 controller.
And do more of a, I like to call it sit and steer.
Yeah.
Where you're playing and your virtual experience is, your head really becomes the camera. Rather than traditionally you kind of use the right stick in games.
Correct. So in this one, we're playing with the motion controllers, so the move controllers. On the PS or the PC version, you would be using the controllers that come with the Vive,
Yep.
for example, and you would have the same combinations, maybe a little bit more ability to change stuff, but you can the enemies. Let's just say this too. I believe the enemies are a little easier. You just saw me take out that wolf with just a flame, and I was only level 2.
You had mentioned
It's
that,
a little bit easier, even on Fallout VR.
you had mentioned that you thought maybe they scaled the difficulty down a tiny bit
I
just
did,
to make
yeah.
it friendlier, given the experience is definitely, you're right in the center of it.
Yeah, I think that there is a little bit of we made it a little easier for you, which is cool.
You wouldn't want to spend all the time to go make a Skyrim VR or a Fallout VR and have people be like, oh, I really like this, but it's too hard, so I'm not playing.
Yeah.
I think they probably did themselves a favor by making it accessible enough that it's playable in that regard, and you don't feel like you're getting frustrated.
You can change. Yes, there are some toggles, Baltimore, for the difficulty level. I still think it's lower challenge or lower difficulty than anything else. It's hard to say if it's. I would have to do a 1-to-1, crank it all the way up, and see if there was. But definitely on the normal mode, just you fire it up and you start playing. It's way easier than regular stuff. In that sense.
What was your favorite thing about your experience when playing it in VR?
I think that it definitely makes you feel like you're using some kind of magic. Like magic matters in this version. I never really played magic builds.
Okay.
I think that the one thing I don't care for as much is trying to sneak around.
Anytime I played, I've always played a stealth-heavy kind of situation.
Yeah, and I think that maybe isn't the funnest way to play in this, because you definitely want to really interact. Now, the stealth in Fallout 4 VR is pretty amazing.
We talked about that.
I really was blown away by how well it worked. You can hide behind a truck, shoot around a corner. You can do that stuff. In this one, I don't think that stealth would be as fun. Although, playing as a thief, or playing as for the Night Mother, what am I thinking of? It's a specific order in the game where you go around and assassinate people.
Okay.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's basically a way you would want to play more stealth than you would want to be head on, fighting. But this game, you do get a lot of stuff. The bow works well, works well enough. I was showing it here, kind of like what it looks like. You're pulling them. Basically, they just appear in your hand. It's not like you have to pull from the thing in the back.
Right.
They didn't want to make it that cumbersome where you had to keep messing around with it. The Dark Brotherhood. Thank you, Baltimore. I couldn't think of it. But the Dark Brotherhood, was the assassin group that you can get into in most of the Elder Scrolls games.
Okay.
And you play stealth pretty much. Like, I have done a run, and I think it was when I was streaming in Baltimore, would have seen it, when I did, only Archer, Dark Brotherhood, Thief, stealth build.
Okay.
And that was fun.
Sure, yeah.
I've never really played a heavy mage one, but I think in VR, a mage would be awesome. Because the visuals and, the feeling of, actually you see the two hands. Now, when you're here, you don't really see the hands. You just see the weapon or the bow. But when you're in the mage mode, you see the hands and kind of like you're casting the spells and things like that. So it's just a little bit more, interactive. You're just drawn in that much more in that it feels like you're doing something.
Because then it also comes with, the VR version comes with Dawnguard, Hearthfire.
You get all the
Dragonborn
DLC
as
for
well.
it, yeah,
Okay.
which is kind of nice. So
Yeah.
you get the full package for, whatever your price of entry is. I think we have it for $59. It's $53.99 with a discount.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get it on other platforms or if you buy it on sale, you're buying that version. There's only one version of the VR version, and it comes with all the DLC, which is kind of nice. So I really enjoyed this, and I played through a good bit of it. Did you ever actually even play it on there?
The VR version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You tried it.
I flipped it on once.
That's what I was going to say. I thought it was good. I mean, if you really, going through the game over and over again, I played through it so many times.
Sure.
It does add enough to where you're like, I'm going to play it again.
Okay.
Right? Because it is that much different. There's that much more difference to it, just for the fact of feel and, the way you can play around with things.
Yeah, I had flipped it on because you had been really selling me on the where the screen is square, and then as you move, you were like, even if you don't really want to play the whole game, you got to check out how they handled dealing with the motion sickness with the little, I don't know, what do you want to call that, where it moves in.
Well, yeah, what do they call that? The tunnel vision?
Yes, thank you.
It's basically where you'll notice when I'm moving around in this, it turns into smaller circles that you're looking through.
Right.
So it turns into more tunnels, and they feel and they believe, and there's information to back that up, that people that are more susceptible to motion sickness, that alleviates that.
Right.
It is more comfortable to play with, and they do it on all of their games. They do it for Doom, they do it for Skyrim VR, and they do it for Fallout 4 VR.
Okay.
And it does make you feel better when you're playing the game. You can definitely play for longer.
Which, I mean, is
it's almost like they're squinting. Yeah, I mean, essentially that's kind of what it is.
And for a game like this, you usually don't play Skyrim in 10 or 15 minute bursts. You usually sit down and play it for a minute.
Yeah.
And that's where people kind of tend to, there's a, what do they say, roughly, I don't know where this is where they publish this type of thing. I've always heard a quarter of users experience some form of nausea in VR.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's tough to make something when when a quarter of your base is going to not be able to use it.
Puts it on and starts not feeling very
right.
good. Yeah.
So they definitely did a good job. Now, I will give, and we're going to diverge from talking about this, I will give props to Nintendo on their Switch Labo VR kit. that any game that's on there can be played in VR or can be played 2D. I thought that was that was a smart move on their end. So like family members that couldn't play it could still interact with the game disc, and it wasn't a waste of money.
It was very much a Nintendo way of doing things to make sure that everybody would be able to play it.
And then I'll turn around and give props to anybody else who makes games where they include a PS VR mode or a VR mode in their base game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you can still play it like Kona. You can play Kona VR from it.
Res
7, you get to play in VR. So, or RE7, you get to play in VR. That's a huge benefit. If you can, have everybody out there being able to play your game, regardless if they can use the VR or not, or they feel good when they use it. So, I would love to see more of that. It kills me that you have to keep buying versions of Skyrim over and over and over again. I love the game. After VR, I think that's it for me. There will not be another purchase of a Skyrim product. I've held off on the Switch version.
Okay.
I've owned it on 20 different platforms probably over the years, or bought it multiple times, and I think that's enough for me on it. I've played enough, and the VR version was the great way to cap it off.
Yep.
But if you've never played it, I would play it. I think Skyrim is one of the best role-playing games you'd ever play. It's hundreds of hours of content. I know people that had played it on Twitch for thousands of hours.
One thing that I think makes it very playable in that regard is in some games these days, I feel like as you're running around, we'll just, take some of the service games.
Yep.
A lot of the builds in the game sometimes leave a little to be desired. You can fundamentally change how you play Skyrim. It's not just like, I'm going down the good path, and then I'm going down the bad path. You can play the game stealth, you can play the game magic, you can play the game melee, you can play the game trying to talk your way through it, you can rob your way through it.
Yep.
You can get to a point with it where, you can even get down the path of like, I'm a vampire, or I'm a werewolf, right?
Oh, yeah.
There are fundamental ways to change. If we make another character in Division 2,
you're basically getting the same.
it's not that different of a play if you played through it again, right? So, that's not a knock.
It's not a knock on it. We love it, but yeah, no, it's definitely a difference between like a single player that's so expansive like Skyrim is, or Elder Scrolls in general, versus a multiplayer game that has lots of gameplay but very little differentiation.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. In what you can do.
And then you've got the mod support, which is like, you think these games look good. Do yourself a favor, go onto YouTube, look at a Skyrim, like super HD mod or an ultra HD mod. The game looks different, right? It looks like a borderline brand new.
Yeah, no, they've done amazing. You can go to Nexus Mods and you can get them.
Nexus,
you can even get, with the special edition, the one that we're going to play here, the special edition you use Steam's mod platform.
Okay.
The workshop. So, a little bit of a difference there. So before we get into playing it, we'll actually bring it up on screen. Well, we'll wait a second. We're going to play a little bit of Skyrim. We're going to go through some of the beginning portion, not the exact beginning, but closer to the beginning. Just if you're questioning how big it is, this is the strategy guide for Skyrim. This is the the legendary edition, so the special edition essentially. Where you have all the DLC and everything, and that's a good 2 inches.
Hold that up again. This is relative to a game box.
Yeah. If you go like this, that's what you're looking at. It's over 1,100 pages, and that's like what's in the game that they wanted to tell you about. That's not 100% of how you would play the game in each different direction, that you choose to go, and it's.
There are other ways to
That's
say
a Bible.
There are other ways to say a game doesn't have any content, okay?
Yes, I know. And then you go and you look at this. This is my son's collection of the Skyrim histories, which basically takes everything that's written within Skyrim in the little books you'll come across in the game. This is the entire library of what that looks like in hardback books. So this is how much more content is in the game that you can go and just read about internally.
Definitely.
So, and these are hundreds of pages a piece, right? So you start to put this all together, and if you wanted to kill somebody as they were walking by, you just drop that off the top of something, and yeah, they're gonna get it. That's a lot of content in one game that everybody should probably play in their life. So let's jump into it. I don't think I have any more show and tell. Let's see. We're gonna jump in. We're gonna dive into where I'm at. So in the game, I think we're gonna start at the Riverwood area. So this is right when you're first starting off on your adventure. You get to choose what kind of blessing you get from the gods. And we're probably gonna take Warrior. Yeah, it's something, Baltimore. It's God, the amount of times I've played through this game, it's crazy. And it's so funny, I remember so many stories, but then I don't remember 100% of everything. Let me turn up that volume. I think this is the correct one, so you should be getting some volume there. So right away, the game, so this is the special edition. They did a lot with like, the sun rays and particles that come through the light or through trees and stuff like that. They did a lot of effects on the water. They cleaned up a lot of the textures. So there are HD packs so that you can get, that have I think they even have like 4K assets on some of the Skyrim stuff. Or up to 4K, because they can support up to 4K on it. So you can kind of see like, they definitely upgraded textures in these. You can harvest thistles, stuff like that. But let's get into choosing what we want. So this one's going to see Mage Stone, Warrior Stone, and Thief Stone. I'm going to say Warrior Stone. That's going to give us a little bit of a benefit right off the get-go. We're going to get combat skills 20% faster.
Okay.
Essentially. And the nice thing is, you can play in third and first person, which is cool.
Definitely.
It's a nice, easy way. Yeah. Thank you, Baltimore. So it is 4K. Yep.
I mean, that's a thing in Fallout as well, where you could always jump between first and third.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can do it on controller. Damn, if I remember how to do this. Oops, that's the map. There we go. It's just clicking the right stick. And then if you hold down, whoops, let me see which one it is. Holding one of these buttons will allow you to zoom in and out from, I think.
So you go from a more third person to a more over the shoulder?
Yeah, you can do that. You might not be able to do it in this version, but in some of them you could zoom even further back.
Okay.
Or zoom even closer, and you could manually adjust it, because right now if you click it, it's just a setting. You're basically bouncing between first and third.
I've played all Fallout games in first person. I very rarely used the third person aspect. I enjoy the first person.
Yeah. And Baltimore said those are the 3 stones out of 13 total that you can get. Where you can change, you only get to carry one at a time, but you can change them out as you go. Like if you want to focus more on the mage, you can go back to that stone and say, I want the mage blessing.
Does that persist through death?
It does.
So you go make another stone?
It's only until you ever select off of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And use the other stick to do it. You're right, look at that. Oh, just in time. Let's take care of these wolves. We're just going to pummel them with our haymakers. Just like we're in a WWE. Oh, uh-oh. Get away from me. Get away from me. One for you, one for you. Oh, your buddy showed up. Okay, we're going to have to run into the water because we're going to die. We're going to die. Already. We're in the water, okay. Wow. We were wasting time trying to figure things out. Is he swimming behind?
You're going to need to pull that strategy guide out.
We might have to. Well, anyhow, here's Riverwood, which I call Index Washington.
First town in the game?
Yes,
Once you get to
pretty
the
much.
cutscene.
If you were to walk with the story, yes, it's the first town in the cutscene.
Wolf?
Yeah, look at him. He's after me. He's like, I got your number. Here, I'll run in here and these guys will help me, I think. Get him. He's coming. Nope, he stopped. Stopped at the gate. Anyhow, let's go back into first. So, Baltimore was right. You just hold in and you can zoom in and out and get a closer view. We'll go back into first person. And you kind of want to put your guns away because people don't like it when you're fisting.
No, I mean, that's one of the things we were just saying about how fundamentally you can change. If you walk into a store with a gun in your hand, they assume robbery.
Yeah,
right?
Yep, they do. So if we wanted to continue the beginning of the story, you kind of go on this path and you talk to these folks, but we're not going to go that way. We'll go in and talk to the Riverwood trader. And if we go into Riverwood trader, he's going to give us a quest pretty much right off the bat. Him and his sister, I think they are. Hansel and Gretel, or Camilla and Lucan. So essentially you prod people for information. Like, hey, what's happening, brother? There's problems. We'll get him to kind of like tell us what's going on. We can't hear it on our end, but you guys hopefully can hear a little bit of the audio on that side. I'm going to cough real quick. Excuse me. Yeah, you can go whatever way you want, Baltimore. I mean, that is the awesome thing about it. You don't have to, follow one path. You can start on a different path instantly. There's even a mod that you can do. It's basically a random start, and it picks from like 13 or 15 different starting points, and it's somebody that made this mod that you can choose wherever you want to go. So he's telling us, hey, this claw that I had is really impressive, and I have to get it back. That's what I want you to go after. Now, whether or not we may be able to do this is going to be questionable, because it is a little bit of a challenge, and we basically have no weapons. I didn't go down a path to get weapons and all that stuff starting off from here. So I think at this point, did he tell us to... she's got a mean look on her face. Okay, I want to get away from you. Why are you not letting me leave?
You hit B?
I am hitting B. Maybe it doesn't like it. How about we hit... what happened? I can't do anything.
That's the oddest thing.
That is odd, that we just basically got locked up here. Doesn't surprise me. Yeah. We are locked up. And the game's basically froze. Wow.
F4?
I don't even think it's going to do it. It doesn't care. Is the keyboard even on? Oh. Give us a sec here, folks. Okay, you got it. Hang on. Let's take a second here and get this thing working. For some reason, and I don't know what it was. It might be our machine here. Has been running this for quite some time today while we were getting stuff set up. So I'm not sure what that was. Let's go back in and we'll see if we can get this restarted.
I wouldn't doubt it was the machine.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah, we'll be right back. We need that. The famous Bethesda glitches. To not prod them with anything, they do have a few of them. When you make a game this big,
A couple, yeah.
you're going to have some problems show up. And we're not using any mods. We didn't do any of that stuff. I don't know what that was. That was kind of interesting. I had not seen just a base crash like that. But it looks like Steam is doing something right now. So I don't know if that was a Steam issue. Not pointing fingers. Name names.
What are you pointing at me for? What are you pointing at me for?
Let's see if it's gonna give us some kind of love here. Okay, let's try to jump in there one more time. We'll get it started up and then kick off from there. So let me throw it back on the... Yep, go ahead and hit play. And we'll throw it back on. I think we'll be okay. I don't know. It really looked like it was an update thing from Bethesda. Or not from Bethesda, from Steam.
Yeah.
Because it did an update right after we fired Steam back up. So let's see where we left off. We might be back at those pillars. I don't know if it's saved or not. No, perfect. Okay. Well, it's saved at least here. So let's talk to her first. I would like to steal that sword too, but I don't know if that'll happen. So she wants us to talk to her brother. We're going to say, hey, we need that claw. Or he needs the claw, we need the help. There's the hat that I'm wearing right there. I don't think it's a hat. It feels more like a sock that keeps riding up on your eyes, so I need like those old-time sock things that hold it down. Let's see, clawback, yes. No freezy. He's telling us a story. Okay, now we got it. That's what it didn't do. It didn't give us the actual claw. So I know where the claw is, but we do need a weapon.
Go.
And I'm hoping that we can kind of swipe a weapon from the first...
Little procurement.
Yeah, a little procurement from the first guys we run across. So let's see what we do have. We don't have a lot. Do we even have any armor? Well, we've got fur skin boots and we've got some stormcloak gear. We have some health potions, which is good. And we've got one dagger and one war axe. So we're gonna go with what we have, the war axe. But yeah, this is a beautiful game. Honestly, this looks like, I don't want to brag, but where I live, there's a bridge and there's mountains that you look at that have snow on them, and it kind of looks just like this over top of a river. And that's kind of why I chose to move there, because I was such a big fan of this game. It doesn't look as majestic as this, but it's damn close. So the claw, your indicator is going to give you up on the compass there, but the claw's up this way. At least one of the claws are. It didn't go far from the guy that had them. So we're not going to go visit all the town. We're just going to hit this. And there's plenty of towns to go to. Right there. A little bit of violence.
It's like I always say, if you can't hang with the big dogs, you gotta stay on the porch.
Exactly. Big dogs gotta eat. We'll work our way up here. I'm going to keep watching over on the chat side just to make sure. But yeah, you get some beauty, and this is really the, although Oblivion had it, it wasn't as majestic in this sense. Like the detail, like you can see there's a path going up the hill over there. And you know, like if you want to, you can go all the way to the top of that mountain. Right? Wherever you can see, you can go.
Yep.
Which is impressive. And I think really blew a lot of people's mind the first time they got into it and started to play. Because there's a lot of places you can just climb mountains like you're a mountain goat. And just get to a point where you're like, wow, I didn't even think you would be able to get up here. Yeah, it blew mine too, man. I agree with you, Baltimore. It was impressive. Okay, here we're going to try get some more weapons. Hopefully they're better than what we got. Or clothes. Well, she got gold. I'll take that. And
take it.
I want to say they've got better stuff, so we're just going to swap it. Oh, look at this. It's Aquaman. That's his name.
Jason.
Yeah. He's attacking. He's got studded gear on, so we'll take that. I mean, basically, you just end up taking everything you ever run across in the game. Right? But, another guy wants some. Oh, and we want that sword, and we want that shield. Come on. Ooh! That's with authority. Anybody else going to shoot me or hit me? I know there's an archer here somewhere, too, but he may not be as alert. Let's grab that, and then let's grab... Oh, well, we got to grab the head. And we might take the armor now. Now let's take a look. They don't need the clothes. They'll be fine. Damage of 8. Got the dagger. Got the axe. Let's take the mace. We're going to go with the mace. And we're going to go with a shield. And I think... What are we talking about?
Iron?
Best bet? That's what I'm thinking too. Iron boots, iron helm. And I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, now we're a little bit more prepared. It was going to come down to it at one point. Somebody was going to die. The game, though... Oh, did I fall off something? Wait. There's the tower. I'm going this way. And the effects of like it getting more and more snowy, you know, like harder to see, view distance is changing. You know, it's all based upon the area that you're in. You know, it makes sense. You can get rain anywhere in the game, you know. For snow, you got to be in the right area.
It doesn't snow on the sunny beach for sure.
Well, you wouldn't think. You wouldn't think. Am I going the right way? It's been a while. I think I am. I think now we got to start cutting up the mountain because we got to go up that way. I might have went a little too far. Oh! Little kick to the head. I think I went too far down. We need to go back up this way. And if you put your sword and shield away and all that stuff, you can move faster. Just a little faster. It's not like miracles, but you get some speed. So that tower thing is what we want to go after. And if we look at our map, so you do get a full 3D map overview. Bleak Falls Barrow, that's where we were. We want to get kind of up here, and if we zoom in, can't zoom in really. There's mods that you can get to where you can really zoom in, but you see there's kind of this area like that looks like there's a building.
House-ish or something?
Yeah, that's where we want to go to. And I need to find the path up there, which is probably on the other side. That might even be part of the building. But yeah, I mean, over the years playing this game, it came out on 11/11/11, which was funny. So this game is now 8 years old. Still being played. There's what we were looking for. Still being played to this day by millions and millions of people, probably.
Well, it's even become something of borderline an internet meme where they're like Skyrim announced for the PS37.
Oh yeah. Well, there was. What was it? The very special edition for the Amazon Echo?
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Let's see. I know that there's an archer. There's the archer. Oh. Ah. Fooled me. Give me a little. Okay. We can grab a bow too. Never hurts. Oh, and a lockpick. We'll take that. Cool. Oh. A little bit of trouble up here already. Another Jason Momoa. Oh man, he's swinging an axe. Oh, where is he? Come back here. There we go. I like the look at that axe, but it's a two-handed weapon. We'll take it, but maybe we won't use it. Ah! Another archer. So imagine doing all of this in VR. That's what you get on Skyrim VR. Very impressive. Okay, don't shoot me. Took an arrow to the leg instead of the knee. I'm still able to fight.
It's a little rough.
I've gotten a little beat up, but we're good. We're good.
Okay.
We don't have to worry about anything. It's all in the plan. Now, this would take you normally to get through this. Probably the full game. Somewhere in between, without the DLCs, probably more close to 30 hours, 25 to 30 hours.
Okay.
Some people can speed run it, right? And they know exactly where everything is. And obviously, let's try, we can level up. Let's do a level up while we're at it. So in the level up, you actually have like your skill tree as you go through kind of thing. So we can level up our health, our stamina, our magic first. I'm going to probably level up our health first. And then we can kind of choose what we want to start really honing in on. One-handed or archery is going to be good because we're warriors, essentially. Another good one would be smithing, because you can start really like working the high-end gear and making 1,000 like daggers to be able to get your way through the entire tree.
Usually when I play, I try to pick up a little bit of combat early.
Yeah, it helps for sure. It's definitely going to help because you can go duel or you can go flirt, fighting stance. Dual wielding attacks. I don't have any weapons for that. I don't even think we can do... Oh, I think we got to actually like click on this one first. The base one, the armsman. So cool. We've got that. Now let's go ahead and grab... Whoops. We're going to do a sneak attack. Come on. One over. There we go. Hunting bow. Oh, we need... the one thing you have to do is equip the arrows too. Oh, we do have them equipped. Okay, cool. Can I hit this dude from here? Oh, I didn't hit him. So they're looking for me. Then the other thing you can do that's smart, I'm not doing it right now, is you can go in and set up your quick keys on your controller if you're playing with controller. I'm playing on controller, it just makes it easier for where we're playing right now. If you're on keyboard, it's actually a little bit easier to play without having to do that as much. Let's see here. So the shield we've already got. Yep. We're just going to have to take him on. Oh, I like how she shot the shield, took it down, and then the guy was like, I'm going to hit you. I'm coming for you. Oh. 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 Where's my VATS? Let's see here. Let's take some gold. And he's probably got some gold and a lockpick. Lockpicks are useful right away because of this. Now this has a different mechanic. They changed the mechanics from Morrowind to Oblivion to... Well, Morrowind, and if I remember correctly, Morrowind's very similar to Oblivion. Oblivion had the kind where you were like kicking up these little things and you had to stop them.
Right.
This one is more like the Fallout version. Elder Scrolls Online has more of the Oblivion style, funny enough, though. Oh! Broke one, but we know where we're at now. There we go. And we'll take that gold. Now we can really start trucking through. A little bit of cobwebs. We could search everything, but, you know, everything's going to have something in it, just so everybody knows. Like, if you go in here, you might find stuff in here, you might find gold, whatever. Yep. You can search through tons of stuff. I think this was a trap.
I'm a big scavenger, you know, when you're running around and you have that option, for sure.
I'm going to bypass that for now so we can get a little further in. We might, based upon the level and weapon we have, we might be able to beat this first little area. It's dependent how much time we have. But we're going to start to find draugrs in here, which are a little bit more like zombies. Zombies or mummies, or I don't know, really. Kind of the two. There's a puzzle mechanic in this too, right at the beginning. Come on. Take him down. Now, if I was smart, I'd start doing healing magic right away, because that's very beneficial. It doesn't heal as fast as a potion, but it would give us something if we run out. We can take a torch with us. So here's kind of the first puzzle. We see this whale. We see this snake. We don't know what this was. We think there was one here. So we'll have to hop down. And here's a snake here, right? So that could have been from that one up there. So if we try to use this right now, we're getting shot by arrows and stuff like that. If we go over here, let's try and activate this and get it in the correct pattern.
Snake, snake, whale.
Snake, snake, whale. Should be good. Snake. Snake. Now, we're good to go. The first one's always empty. Yeah, no, the first thing you always check. I know, I better beat it. I mean, I played the damn thing so much. It would be a shame if I couldn't beat the first challenge. It's not really the first challenge. Again, to what Baltimore said earlier, you can basically go any direction you want, right? You can go straight towards like the meat of the storyline and just really start attacking that really fast. Oh, skeevers. One of the things that funny, I mean, Bethesda always gives you a lot of different ways to play their games. One of the things I used to do in New Vegas, this is Fallout, so Fallout New Vegas, I would bypass everything in the beginning and head straight to Vegas.
Sure.
And go to all the casinos, win all the money so that they ban you from each one of them.
Okay.
Then you have enough money to go put all the mods on your body at the underground,
the dude down the street or whatever.
The underground surgeon.
Uh-huh.
And then at that point, you can kind of move forward with a lot of upgrades right from the get-go.
Sure.
The only thing you have to do is you have to run through like Deathclaw Valley, where they're like chasing you the whole way, and you're running and like trying to sneak by, and yeah, it becomes a little bit of a pain. Gotta get through here. The treadmill live streams. Yeah, I used to play these games when I was on the treadmill. Whoa. They were fun. They were actually not too bad. I mean, I used to beat Destiny. Destiny. Ooh, who's gonna kill me? Who's gonna kill me? I'm gonna run in here. We need a little bit of a. We could take them out with our bow. It might be a smarter move here. I'm trying to do it more in a quick pace than I am a smart pace. Let's see. We'll try the bow. Actually, what you need to do is swing the big sword, and you can take them out pretty quick. But we'll try to do this without kind of the right way of playing it. Really, you can kind of cheat too. You can just kind of sit here and pick them off, or through this. I'm back here. Where'd you go? But yeah, we used to beat the raids in Destiny on the treadmill.
Yeah, dude. That was a long time ago.
Those are always fun. One more. Nice. So as you use more things, your skills increase. In Oblivion, the funny one was if you jumped the whole time that you kept running around the world, you would build up your athletics enough to like max out the stat. If you were just jumping, you'd be basically going down the road and you're just doing
intermittently jumping
the whole time. You're doing this. So this is a guy that basically tried to screw us. Essentially, he was stealing stuff, not coming. He was trying to screw the other group, and we're after the Gold Claw. Uh-oh. I don't know what the auto mod's doing. It's doing something. I do still talk to Sarah. Yeah, she plays a lot of games. We finished, the last game we all played together was Fallout 76.
Yeah,
we basically went through as far as you could go in the game.
Yeah, we played all the content that was there.
Yeah, that was there at that time.
Oh, what were they called? The things that fly? Why am I spacing on this?
The nuke. Wait, no. The
Scorch Beast.
Scorch Beast, yes.
And the power.
Uh-oh, he took off on us. Come back here.
You gonna let him get away with that?
We're not gonna let him try. There is. We're not gonna grab stuff. I was gonna say we're gonna grab all this stuff and find all this stuff, but no, we played together. Yeah, I don't know what the auto mod was talking about. See, we never knew that the auto mod worked on this. We could actually bypass these guys and kill him. Might as well. Uh-oh, now we've got it. Okay. Yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that, but took a chance. I should set up that quick mod. I'm just gonna keep backing up until we get like one. That's what we want. Come here. Because man, they can. That two-handed weapon swing. That's a rough one. Almost. We're fine. We're gonna be alright. We're gonna be okay. Maybe. Oh. We're gonna have to keep going back a little bit further. I don't have anything mapped to the board, to the keys, so see, the spider web stopped them. Let's level up. We'll get our health. up one more time, and let's take another hit on here. So our health should go all the way up. Perfect. And he's kind of stuck. So we trapped him in the web.
Nothing like talking trash.
Yeah, he was talking trash the whole time there. And nice mace to the face. That'll do you well. Oh, Destiny 2 triggered the auto mod. That's funny. Yeah, I could see why. All the controversy behind the game kept you... Yeah, I know. It's if you haven't played Fallout 76, the one thing you got to be able to get past is the server. And I don't know if it takes a really, really solid internet connection. I mean, you have a decent internet connection, like a super solid one. I have a kind of crappy one. I don't know... Oh, there's the Golden Claw. That's what we want. We'll take his journal. And his gear's kind of normal, so he can keep all that stuff. And there was a trigger on the floor. You don't want to step on that. That'll trigger this gate with all the spikes to fly towards your face. But the server intermittently going up and down just drove me nuts. But the gameplay was good.
We had more fun with it than I think probably any of us had anticipated, given the sort of like complaining that had gone online.
I missed him. I thought he was going to run right behind me. They actually stopped. Funny enough. Oh, they got him.
Oh.
Perfect. Nice shot. You want to try it? You want to try it? Step on that. Oh, you got past. Everybody gets a ride. Yeah, I keep stopping for stuff. We'll move on from that. But yeah, when it would go up and down, that drove me a little bit crazy, but the game was really fun. Comcast is not... That's who you have, right? Do you have Comcast or do you have CenturyLink?
The line that sits on the PlayStation is the CenturyLink line, the dedicated line.
I got nicked on that one. I think this shuts it down. Yes, so now we can run through there. Like Indiana Jones. Yeah, so you have both, and yours was pretty solid, though. It would still go up and down, but...
Oh, that was like, there were times when nukes were going off and the server would just collapse.
Yeah, when they first got the ability, there were people that were smart enough to fire like 3 nukes off at once.
Right.
Or back to back. Like the server couldn't handle all of the Fallout zones.
Mm-hmm.
And triggering that many scorched beasts, so it became like a nightmare. Oh, come on. That's you. You're down. How about you take one too? Nice. It's definitely triggering a lot more like one-shot kills. Or cutscene kills, or whatever you want to call them, than I used to get. I don't remember it being that generous with them. Oh, you had CenturyLink at one time? Thought it was phenomenal? Yeah, you know, it's not bad. I've heard a lot of good things from people. Frontier, man, I had Frontier DSL, or sorry, not DSL. That's what I have now. It's kind of really rough. Very crappy.
Yeah, coming from the Fios.
Frontier Fios, where it was on the fiber network. Oh, man, that was awesome. Never had a problem with that. That was solid like a rock. Although I think there was only a few people that using it in the neighborhood or something.
Right.
Because it was too good to be true. Right. There was not a lot of like problems with it. Oh, the finishing move will kick off. It just seems like the finishing move is hitting far more often, but yeah, that makes sense though. If you're within so many blows, it'll like do a chance roll or something like that and kind of randomly kick it in. That makes sense, Baltimore. Yo, you just looked it up. Cool. Thanks, man. Scrolls. You can do fire scrolls if you want. Instead of having to learn the magic, you can just use the magic. Let's see, I think we're on the right path still. It's been a bit. I do remember some of this, though. Ooh. There we go. We'll just keep taking the gold. So who knows? I may do another playthrough of this afterwards. Just keep on it. You can see the color palettes change, though. I mean, definitely this is more earthy.
It's certainly very noticeable when if you go and play the first variant of it before the remaster.
Yeah.
With like the new lighting and the new textures and the color bump and all that stuff.
Ooh, see, this guy's a little tough. This guy's he hits a little harder than most. And takes hits better than most. I think he's swinging over the top of my head, though. Or he's hitting me right in the head, which could be bad. It's probably bad. It's getting a little bit away from him. When you know it. Mister gonna follow you. Goes the extra effort. Trying to kill me. Let's just use a potion. Your health does go up just a little bit, but not fast enough to where it would really make sense.
Especially not yet.
Yeah, not to keep running. I'm trying to keep the potions, though. I kind of want that greatsword. I'd like to just swing big for the fences, but how much carry weight do I? Oh, I've got plenty.
Yeah, plenty.
I'll take it. Like swinging for the fences. Are we getting Elder Scrolls? We were going to talk about that for a little bit. Like, are you getting it? Yes. Are you getting it any time in the next few years? Probably not. They still have Starfield to get through, which is, probably going to be a bigger game, I would expect.
My expectations is that'll come before
Elder Scrolls 6, yeah.
Yeah, and frankly, then whatever we call Fallout 5.
Yeah.
So it'll be Blades and Starfield for probably the next couple of years is my expectation.
Yeah, have you tried Blades yet, Baltimore? The mobile version. I know that iOS has access to it right now. I think Google Play does as well.
I think so.
But not every device can use it because my Shield device that I bought can't use it. There we go. Slid through there. We could almost run through this area. Funny enough, watch this. We can, let's do one thing real fast. We're going to map a weapon. We're going to map the damn bow. We should be able to favorite that. I think we should be able to favorite another weapon as well. What's that mace? That double axe is doing 20. Greatsword's going to do 19. I think we can do a favorite on that too, right? Yep. We're gonna use our bow here. Get this guy. Come on down here. Here comes one. Oh. Did I get it? No, I missed it. Okay, let's give him some of this. Ooh. Oh, I missed him twice, 3 times. There we go. A little bit of the leg business. Now, can we get this guy? I want to knock. What I'm trying to do is knock down those little. Oh, come on. See, I'll do it at least just so we can show the flames that shoot out. Then, essentially, there was gas on the ground,
Or oil or whatever.
or oil, or whatever it is. We're gonna need health. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He hit me. There we go. Come on, back up. Ah, there you go. That took care of that. Ooh, it was burning me. Did anybody have any potions? That would be nice. I'm hopeful that we can get through this first one, because we'll get our first shout at that point. Which, as you become the Dovahkiin, you actually end up getting these shouts from the dragons of old. Now here's the puzzle room. So you have to first start getting across here, and then you've got to figure out the puzzles. And it's basically a rotation puzzle. So here's your rings, the claw, and you would think it'd be on the wall, but just for a little bit of insider info. Oh, I need to fix something here real fast. Insider info is it's actually on the claw itself. You have to manipulate the claw to see what the actual puzzle is. So let's take a look at our claw. This is almost like the old Resident Evil stuff.
You gotta inspect. Yeah.
You gotta inspect. So I think it's under miscellaneous. Yep, Golden Claw. But we can look at it. We should be able to zoom in on it, I think. Can we zoom? There we go. So it's, what is it? Bear, bug,
Bear, fly, owl.
owl. Bear, fly, owl, or butterfly. So let's do that. We're gonna... Right now, it doesn't do anything, right? So, wouldn't go... Let's move this to the bear. One more. The bug. One more. Come on. And then the owl down here. The Fusroda. Yep, that's what you're going to get. Yeah, you know what? I liked Game of Thrones, definitely. It is a connection. If you do like this, you probably would like the Game of Thrones kind of thing. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. It's slowly going to drop. We did it. Let's go. Did you watch Game of Thrones on, was it Sunday? Is that when it was
Last
on?
Sunday. Yeah.
Last Sunday? Now this guy, this is what we're after here. Let me do... Where are we at with our health? I think we're good. Let's give it a shot. Because that thing right here, what I've got the crosshairs on, that's going to give us our shout. Right there. That's the dragon temple kind of thing. Wall. So, we'll see. This guy's a little tougher, but not too bad. And we kind of set him off by looking at his casket. Let's see if we can get some stuff off of his things first. We'll take those. We've already got boots. We don't need that. That's actually a good set of illusion robes, though. So we got the rest. What is that? Weak frenzy poisoning. We'll take a petty soul gem. And, yeah. That's the guy. So now it's going to give us the power. The unrelenting force. This is kind of a knockback kind of thing.
Okay.
Actually, maybe... Yeah, no, there he is. He was just taking his time. Skills. Oh, it's not under skills. What am I thinking? It's under magic. So, shouts. Unrelenting force. Oh, that's gonna give us... We gotta get a dragon thing. That's right. Yeah, see, he's got the power already. Oh! He hits hard. Man, he swings for the fences. Is there a cobweb? Wow. Ooh. Knocked me into the water. Let's see here. We've got two of those, huh? It's not great. Let's go this way. We're going to get around him. We got him a little bit down. Where's he at? Where'd he go? Oh, is he down there? He is. Well, since he's on the other side, let's see if we can't get a couple arrows into him. He's going to keep shouting at me, though. Yeah, look, he's... right when you go to shoot, he moves. Give me a break with that. Ugh. Okay, come here. Just keep him at bay a little bit. He's sliding. Okay, no. Oh. Let's use one more. This is weak. Usually I would go out and get some more stuff and some levels before I'd take this on. Although it's not too bad. He doesn't really come down in this area that much. He doesn't like the water. Oh, we almost got him. Right in the forehead. With an arrow. Let's see if we can't get him one more time. He's almost down. Let's give him a little bit of the sword.
Oh, just get it.
He already went down. He didn't want to pay it. Let's see, where'd he go? There he is. So there's the Dragonstone, some gold. We'll take his sword. He's got a better one. His actually has some magic. You can imbue weapons with that, if you know Arcanium, or Arcane, Arcane Magic, I think it is. Or imbue weapons, I forget how it works on that, right off the top of my head. So, I don't think we can do anything with the Dragonstone right now. No. We will be able to in the future. So let's jump over here and we'll just find an easy way out. Oh, this is Brooks, sorry. He works with me and we do this. We basically publish all the games and we work with all the partners and that's our business. So, and then we do the show here just to keep busy because we're not busy enough. Now, we started doing this just so we could talk with folks and show off games. I would keep playing for sure. If the company didn't mind me using their equipment, I would stream from here if I could do it. But I'm sure that they're like, yeah, we want some use of our bandwidth.
Right.
Or I'm sure they pay enough.
Yeah, some games out.
So this is the end of that part. So we made it. We're going to Skyrim. We're back out where we started. We could now either go give them the claw and get something, or just keep the damn thing for whatever reason. It's really up to you. And you can kind of see there's some bones down there. There's been something munching on these critters, these big mammoths. So, but the next thing we would do is head off and start from there. But I think that's a good look at Skyrim and kind of like what goes on. So we're going to call it there for the night. And we will definitely be back next Thursday, though. So next Thursday, you're going to be playing.
Yeah,
we're going to be doing a little bit of Evil Within 2.
I think we're doing Evil Within 2 next week is what it would.
Because we're going to be talking about a little bit more of the rest of the Bethesda catalog. Sure thing, Baltimore. Man, thank you for showing up. Greatly appreciated, dude. You're more than welcome to come back anytime you want. And for anybody that's interested, I will just make sure, so this is in this is captured in the stream. Here's the link if anybody wants to look at Elder Scrolls Skyrim Special Edition. You can find that here in the future. So, yeah, dude, we love the game too. I'm glad you were able to stop in and check it out, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up on the next one. Oh, appreciate it, Baltimore. Yeah, man. We love retweets. We love support. We love just having people here and showing up and talking. It's always fun. But yeah, next week we'll be showing off all of the Bethesda stuff from all the rest of it outside of the big franchises.
Basically stuff that's not within the series. So we did an Elder Scrolls series. We did a Fallout series. We did a Wolfenstein series. Now we'll be doing I think there's what's going to be in that, Rage, Within, some Doom.
Prey.
Yeah, Prey was in there as well.
Rage,
right.
Prey. We'll be talking about Doom VR. Is that it from there?
I think so, yeah.
That might be all. Yeah, those ones. So maybe 4 or 5 games we'll be covering as well, and it might be a nice long stream as well. We'll talk a little bit about everything. But until then, you can always reach out to us, let us know what you think. Look in the show notes. All the links are going to be in there, all the information, all of our connection on YouTube or on Twitter and YouTube. You can find our personal stuff there if you want to reach out to us individually. But have a great weekend. Baltimore, have a great weekend, man. We'll talk to you next Thursday, if not before then. And we appreciate everybody hanging out. That's about it.
Talk soon.
Talk soon. See ya.